12 people back here, you notice. There's so much that this congregation is blessed with. By the way, that repetition is the bomb. And I keep telling you, you need to stop singing like this if you're not going to Trinidad or Jamaica. It's ridiculous. We can send them on a boat about 6 weeks before us. You don't like flying. I'm serious. Even after I'm not here with you, you guys need to make contact with me and I'll link you up with some folks in the islands who would enjoy seeing you and hearing you. February is a good time to go when it's bad here and it's nice there. Or if you're home, this church is long overdue a trip to Ghana as well. You got some deadbeat people in here. The choir doesn't want to go anywhere and Reverend Amo doesn't want to take us anywhere. This is ridiculous. Well, it's good to be with you. And we have a card from the West family expressing gratitude for the way we've shored up ourselves around them. I feel like I want to lead us in prayer for the West family. I'd like to also include the Taylor family and to include people who are hurting. So just bow with me for a minute. The banner above us declares that we are about the business of glorifying you, healing lives, and inspiring hope, Lord. Sometimes we wonder if we can do that ourselves when we are unhealed, broken, devastated, sometimes from a disaster that comes upon us, sometimes from decisions we make that mess up our lives, sometimes from pain inflicted by others upon us. And yet you call us to be ministers though wounded. And we go through life with loss. Sometimes we lose our property. Sometimes we lose loved ones. Sometimes we lose our integrity. Sometimes we lose our minds. Sometimes we lose our faith. And through all of those losses, we know that we continue in your grip. We can't imagine, except when we've gone through it ourselves, the loss of our sister and brother and their family. We know that the gifts we've gathered for them is just not enough. And even though the words are true, it rings hollow in our minds as we say, but you are enough. And even though you are enough, yet still they still don't have enough. And all we can do is throw them and ourselves at your mercy, asking that you will continue to encourage them and work for them that which only you can do, even if you will use us and others. But there's something beyond the material, and long before even the material comes, that we know you are already providing. And that's the strength to carry on. So light a fire in their hearts. And let your joy percolate down from heaven upon them. We lift up your servant and your son, Robert, and his family. And even though we've made a journey over these past 2 years, healing, we pray your healing upon them as well. For the way that looks dark still, for the confusion that may still attend. They still belong to us, and we to them. So do for them and us what only you can do. For others who bear other kinds of pain, pain of confusion in a marriage, the pain of not knowing what to do next about a big decision to be made, the pain of bad news from their physicians, the pain of finances that don't add up. You are the healer, and we are the branches connected to the vine, energized by your Spirit, to be the kinds of materials that, the herbs that bring healing to us. So as leaves and branches connected to you, the vine, make of us the herbal medicine in the Spirit that we can be to those who need you and feel you only through us. We pray in Jesus' name. John declared to those who came to him, he must increase and I must decrease. So I bring you a message entitled, Know Your Place. And it might seem to be a bad title for a sermon in Black History Month. To tell black people, know your place. Especially since, if you were watching the proceedings yesterday or the day before in a congressional hearing, you know that you don't mess with, first of all, a woman, second of all, a woman in power, third of all, a woman from Texas, and fourth of all, a black woman. So, Mr. Attorney General, you need to learn that lesson. You know, it probably is a bad title, but you know that that's not what it is. Because for centuries, black people were told what their place was, and it was all a lie. The back of the bus. Colored-only bathrooms. Your place was not at whites-only counters. Your place was not even in white sanctuaries. But when the place that you ought to know you should be is the truth, it is a good thing to know your place. Amen. Because if Richard Nixon had known his place, history would have gone down a little bit different. The White Star Line, is that the name of the company that launched the company, if they had known their place, if they had known that nature was greater than anything you call unsinkable, history would have gone down differently. I wonder how many people who have left churches and gone somewhere else have discovered that they might have left the right place and gone to the wrong place. Maybe sometimes it's those people in the new place who should tell them you are in the wrong place, so go back to your old place. It's the right place. So how does one find their place? How does one get to know their place? The text before us helps us. There are three things that I want to bring out to you that will help us know our place. The story is there, and it's not a story, it's an account of John the Baptist. At the beginning of Jesus' ministry, having a conversation with a couple of his disciples that come to him. After an argument develops among them and a couple of other people. John was baptizing, and I imagine that because of the novelty of that baptism, a little argument developed, discussion that became an argument, and it led to ceremonial washing, because this whole new thing about this man dressed weirdly, and he ate locusts and wild honey, so I can't imagine what his breath was like. This strange fellow doing a strange thing must have sparked a lot of conversations. And it leads back to a discussion about ceremonial washing. Then it eventually turns to, well, who is this guy anyway? Who are you? Where have you come from? And what is all this about? So the first thing that I will tell you that helps you to know your place is this: be open to challenge. For there is nothing that is as clarifying as an argument that suggests to you that you don't know all about what you're talking about. An argument developed about ceremonial washing. And somebody asked the question in their mind that led them to go to John and say to him, look man, hey, that guy who you told us about, who was with you across the Jordan, this is Jesus, he's baptizing people and everybody's going to him. In other words, now listen man, we've been following you for all this time. And there's a new kid on the block and he's thinking of creaming off all your people. Who are you? We thought you were somebody. And as a matter of fact, we're just coming back from some other guys who are ridiculing this whole deal that you've been dealing with. And we can't take it anymore. I mean, that's not what's recorded, but I can imagine that these guys were wondering, look, have we been wasting our time following you? The argument developed. And further, not only is there something, nothing as clarifying as an argument that tells you that you don't know everything about what you're talking about. But there's nothing as clarifying as an argument that you're going to lose. For when you know that that which you've been rooting for is really sinking sand. It clarifies the brain. When you're about to lose an argument, not because the other person is louder than you or more vicious than you, but more truthful than you. Amen. There's nothing like it that clarifies the mind. Be open to challenge. That is what was going on two ways. The disciples who came to John were challenged in an argument that they had with some guy who raised the question about ceremonial washing. They came to John and challenged him from that argument with a question. There's a man, the man you pointed out to us some time ago, Jesus by name. He is over the Jordan, the other side, baptizing, and a lot of people are going to him. Challenge. Argument. John faces it. Let me pause here for a while. Too many of us, and maybe it is because we get our cue from the talk shows on TV. The talking heads, as some people call them. You watch some of those shows, and at the end of the segment, you really get nowhere. All you get is heightened blood pressure. Because they're not there to have an argument that solves anything. They're there to have an argument to try to win. And you could see why this side is speaking, that this one isn't listening to appreciate and understand and be challenged. But this one is listening and latches on to a word here. They don't hear the next 500 words because they want to argue back. And we feed on that every day. Whether it's Fox and any friends, or CNN, or MSNBC, or whoever. Now, I'm not telling you not to watch it, but you watch it with your own ears wide open. And even though it's not the scriptures, you do like the Berean Christians and you go away afterwards and do your research to see if these things are really so. But the point I'm trying to make is this, that there are too many people who get into arguments to win rather than to learn. Amen. And it happens in church. It happens when questions come to us. So I say to us, beware of asking questions for which you're not prepared to receive the answers. Don't ask questions about which you already have your fixed answer. Now that works for lawyers who want to win a case in court. It doesn't work for people who are seeking after truth. If you're seeking after truth, and if you're seeking to know your place, because it is clarifying arguments, it is corrective arguments, it is the truth and the willingness to be open to challenge that move us from a place that we ought not to be to the place that we ought to be. That's the point. That's the point. And there are many arguments that happen between wife and husband, children and parents, parents and children, employee and employer, church member and church member, that are never solved because one or more party is not open to challenge. So don't assume you know all the facts. And don't stubbornly stay fixed upon this rock, I shall not be moved. And it doesn't matter what you tell me. And it doesn't matter how many meetings we have to sort it out. I shall not be moved. Be open to challenge. so that you might know your place, so that you might find your place. Because our own ideas and our own opinions and our own assumptions can fool us, can close us off. The disciples came to John and essentially asked, "Who are you compared to that guy over there? And why is he creaming off our people? Why is he winning and why are you losing?" And John's answer in verse 26, a man can only receive what he receives from heaven. Essentially, John drops us into the second point that I want to make. If you want to know your place, first of all, be open to challenge. And by his answer, a man can, I don't want to misquote it. A person, verse 27, cannot receive even one thing unless it is given him from heaven. John drops us into the second thing to know your place. Secondly, be contented with life. Be open to challenge. And that challenge is two-way. And that challenge really reveals to us what we think about ourselves. And what we think about ourselves has an implication for what we think about others, and vice versa. What we think about others has an implication for what we think about ourselves. And all of that was in the mix of clarifying as these disciples tried to wrestle with who this John was, who they were, who this Jesus was. What were their places in all of this mix? And it is not separated from the second thing, which is to be contented with life. So be open to challenge, because what challenge does is that it really tells you that you are king of all, that you are queen of all, that you're not in charge of everything, that you're not above everything. And it tells you that you're lacking something. It tells you that you're human. It tells you that you're weak. And it charges you that despite all of those weaknesses, to be contented. So John says, he kind of shrugs his shoulders. Yes, I know. He's over there. He's baptizing more people than I did. A couple of you have already gone over to him. But what the heck? I can only receive what I have received from him. And John says that not with a sense of chagrin or remorse. There's a peace and a calm that exudes from him as he says it. That there's an attitude that you can't miss. There's a thinking. There's a profound philosophy in those few words. Number one, that I have received. Number two, what I have received was from heaven. Number three, this whole scenario that's descending upon us that you guys are thinking looks bad, it's good. It's all good. The man was receiving afresh what was unfolding around him as that which comes from heaven and which comes from God. So I say to us, beware of dissatisfaction with your status. Now, let me hasten to say that there's a difference between seeking excellence and discontent with where you are. To To be discontented is to not accept that hitherto the Lord has helped me, that I've come this far by faith. To seek excellence is to acknowledge that where I am is where God wants me. But to recognize that there's more of me that God could have, and more of me that God could make. There's a subtle difference. In discontentment, you mope, you're angry, you're miserable, you make life miserable for everybody around you. You're whining. In seeking excellence, you're also encouraging others around you on a journey towards excellence. You excite them. You inspire them. You refresh them. Because in your weakness, you're joyful and you're pressing on. And it's infectious. Just as infectious as the discontentment where you whine and complain and are miserable. That's how you know your place. And so, there's some people who are fighting to be what they ought not to be. Some people who are fighting for a status that is not theirs to have. There are some people who are seeking to move to a place they ought not to move. And some people who are seeking to go to places they shouldn't go. Only to discover that when they get there, the grass is not green on the other side. Only to discover when they get there that they've left a place of safety and gone into deep, deep danger. History is riddled with those tragedies. So you'll have to figure out that God has created me not necessarily to be a star, not even necessarily to be a supporting actor, but I may be the one who carries the props around the place. I spoke to my Baptist friends in Trinidad and Tobago 2 Sundays ago. Baptist Witness has been on that island for 202 years. And they're not the strongest denomination in Trinidad. Trinidad is a multi-religious society. A lot of Hindus, a lot of Muslims, and the Christian denominations, the Roman Catholics are number one, the Anglicans come close behind the Episcopalians, and Baptists are tiny. The Pentecostals have got all different names have come. And they're proud, they've grown, they've flourished. I mean, everybody knows T.D. Jakes, everybody knows Joyce Meyer, everybody knows Benny Hinn. Even Benny Hinn went down to Trinidad and called the Prime Minister a foolish man, and the people didn't throw him out. That's another story. So I was speaking to my Baptist friends who I understand well, around for 200 years. And Pentecostals came just a few decades ago and have mushroomed. Huge and exciting looking, anything you see in America. I mean, it's just, they may walk like T.D. Jakes, but it's not Jakes, it's Trinidad. So I found myself reminding them about Aesop's fable. You remember Aesop's fables? The dog in the manger, and the hare and the tortoise that crawls along half a mile an hour, and they were going to a certain destination. And the hare looks at the tortoise and says, I can creep him off, I'll take a nap. The tortoise makes his way to the finishing mark, just as the hare is waking up and saying, wait a minute, wait, what was it? I've lost! I said to my friends in Trinidad what I say to you today. You might not be created to be a hare. So just be the best tortoise. I don't know what was going on with Michael Jackson. I mean, the man was born the same year I was born. I wondered if somewhere along the way he wasn't satisfied with being the best black man that he could be. Just be the best that you could be. And accept what God has given you from heaven. Be contented. A man can only receive that which he receives from heaven. Tell you the last thing, because it's at the heart of this message. So there's a little more talk back and forth. John says some more things to them, but he ends by saying in verse 13, he must increase, but I must decrease. So let me recapture this whole scenario. Jesus' disciples were in the Judean countryside. And John the Baptist, who came along before, was also there. Both of them were baptizing. It's kind of like a border clash. So there's Jesus and his disciples on one side baptizing. There's John and his disciples baptizing. This could have gotten ugly. That's a good text for somebody who wants to mangle it to talk about Democrats and Republicans. Then an argument arose between John's disciples and a certain Jew about purification, and they probably left that argument feeling beaten, and they came to that. That's probably what happened, because they came to John beaten and want to know what's going on. This man who he pointed out to us, he's there baptizing. What's with that? John calms them down. That's what happens. You yourselves heard me bear witness more than once. I said, I am not the Christ. I was sent before him. He is the one. He must increase, and I decrease. Know your place. First, you must be open to challenge. Second, you must be contented with life. And third, you won't like this one. You must be willing to lose. Be willing to lose. He must increase, and I must decrease. John was losing. He was losing the number one spot to Jesus. And he came along before Jesus. He was ministering before Jesus. He was the talk of the town. I mean, people were flocking to him, if you remember the Gospels. To the extent that he had to send some away and tell them, no, you're not ready for baptism. Go and bear fruit first of repentance and then come back. I mean, he was so authoritative, he could call them names. You snakes, and get away with it. He was number one, and now he was losing. Not only that, but if you read John chapter 1, the first couple of disciples of Jesus were who? John the Baptist's disciples. They crossed the floor. They turned coat, as they would say in Jamaica. They changed sides. John was losing. And he was smiling. John must have heard somewhere, if Jesus had mentioned it before, or maybe he might have known the precept. Whoever would save his life would lose it. But whoever loses his life shall find it. Now, this is where you need to know a little bit of Greek. The Greek word for lose, L-O-S-E, is the same Greek word for the English word when you add a second O. So in English, one O
is a different word from two O's. But it's the same Greek word, but a different meaning. Whoever would lose the intentional L-O-O-S-E, release your grip. But the first one is whoever will hold on to their life so tightly that they don't want to, will lose it. It will slip away and they don't even know it. L-O-S-E. An unintentional loss, because you're holding on so tightly, you're closing out the door to everything else that will come in and bless your life. Jesus said, whoever will lose his life, L-O-O-S-E, will save it. Whoever tries to hang on to his life will L-O-S-E that life. John seemed to have known that precept. Now, just in case you still didn't get it, let me give you 4 quick lessons on losing. First, to lose, to voluntarily L-O-O-S-E up your life is not natural, it is spiritual. And you know that. It is not me. So a mother with 2 little boys doesn't say to Johnny, Johnny, stop sharing your ball with Tommy so much. It's the opposite. Johnny, share the ball with Tommy. It's not natural. It's not natural to share. It's not natural to lose. It's spiritual. So I'm not asking you, this word is not challenging us to be better people, because we can't be. This word is challenging us to dig into the spiritual part of ourselves and activate it by losing ourselves, loosening up ourselves and letting it go to the control of the Spirit within us. That's the transaction. It's not to become better people. We can't become better people. It is to loose up ourselves, loosen the control of our lives to the Holy Spirit in us, who takes charge and who lives out himself through us. Amen. So losing, first lesson, is not natural, it is spiritual. Second lesson on losing. When you lose intentional L-O-O-S-E, but with the effect of L-O-S-E, when you're prepared to lose, don't you notice what happens? You're giving a gift of winning to somebody else. So long as we have people in a governmental cabinet who only want the rich to remain rich and the poor to remain poor and become poorer, ultimately nobody wins. When people are prepared to accept any kind of nonsense so as to get a gain on a Supreme Court, nobody wins. When everybody wants to win, everybody loses. There ought to be some who are prepared to lose so that they give the gift of winning to somebody else. Is that not the story of Black history? But let me give you the third lesson before I lose it. I'll come back to the Black history and tie it in. It's not just giving the gift of winning to somebody else. It's giving the gift of winning to the community. You want to know why America's dream, the dream has already become a nightmare? It's simply because none of the powerful want to lose. I mean, well, that's not true, because Warren Buffett, that wonderful Omahanian, if that's the word, that man has given away, so far, 71%, and he intends, he says, before he dies, to give away all of his money. What's his name, the Microsoft guy? Gates. Gates isn't far behind. but they're far and few between. We have a lot of greedy, rich people. And too many of them are seeking government and getting it and making the decisions that kill community. And one of the reasons churches don't cry out about that is because we subscribe to that too and we benefit from it. I have little tolerance for those church people, those church pastors who become so filthy rich off of poor people and blame it on the blessing of the Lord. It's a lie. They're only prepared to win while their congregations lose. It's the reverse of what Jesus wants. It's the reverse of how to find your place. So, the fourth lesson is this. 4 lessons on losing. Losing is not natural, it is spiritual. Number 2, losing gives the gift of winning to somebody else. But third, losing gives the gift of winning to a whole community. And fourth, losing is really the way to find your place. So here's it. I mean, I was looking at a number of, we're in Black History Month. And you have to consider this. I mean, the job that you lost was the way to the one you know that you're enjoying so much. That wonderful looking boy that you lost. The loss was the way to the husband you now have. And vice versa. That girl that you lost, it was the opening for the wife, for the woman you now have. Loss opens the door to finding your place. Don't grieve too much when you lose. It opens the door to finding your real place. Every now and again, because when I look at what my 401k, it's not 401k, but there's a name for it, that's the same thing. I told you last week that I came back from Trinidad conflicted, and I was looking at what my social security would give me. Well, don't even think about if I decided to do something silly now and retire. It's nothing. At age 66 and 8 months, I see what it gives. At age 70, I see what it gives. Provided nothing happens with the stock market, and who knows? And now I've lost the whole thought. Right? Yes, every now and then I think. Just the week before I went to seminary, I had an interview with a bank. And in those days, the bank would take you in and they would send you for training if you were smart. And I think I was smart then. And my friend who stood in this pulpit last year in June, Carl Hendon, he also worked in the bank before he went to seminary. And every now and again we joke with each other. We say, Mike, we say, Carl, Mike, where would you be financially if you didn't do this silly Baptist thing, man? And we would laugh. And we would always laugh and we would say, well, you would have a lot of money. And I can't tell you all the details that we share, but we end up by saying, we would have wrecked our lives for sure thereafter. I think so. I mean, so I would love to have more money, but I don't want it at the risk of messing up my life the way others have. So blacks have lost a lot. You know that. That's what the Black History is all about. But in losing, did they not help others to win? I mean, there's so many black people who were inventors, and either white people have stolen the name for the thing, or even if they haven't, because they're black, you just didn't know it. It wasn't publicized. I brought a few, but there's a whole string of them. Everybody has access to the internet. Shirley Jackson, the first black female graduate of MIT. She invented the touch tone, caller ID, and fiber optic. Louis Latimer invented the carbon filament. If these things have carbon filaments in the bulbs. And an early air conditioning unit. Mary Van Brown, she was a nurse. I have to tell my wife this. She invented the closed circuit TV. And on and on and on. These people, we don't know their names. And in a real sense, they've lost. They're not as popular as other names. But in their losing, they have given us a heritage. And a good way to end this message is to ask you, as people of color, hearing a message like this, a man was prepared to lose because Jesus will increase. And look, even if he weren't prepared to lose, Jesus would increase anyway. So he was not just a man who knew his place, he was a man who knew his mind. The question to you then is as a person of color, who can you help by losing? What impact can you make by letting go? What is there left for you to know? What challenge is there that you have not yet received? How open to challenge are you? How sure are you about every position I have, every thought I have, every opinion I have, and everybody else is wrong? How could you find your place when you hold that place? How contented are you with where you are? Doesn't mean that you don't seek excellence, but what it means is that you're not miserable and not trying to become something you shouldn't be. Go where you shouldn't go. Trying to get rich quick. There are too many young men like that. So they enter the drug trade and mash up their lives. How willing are you to lose? The scriptures make it very clear that those who follow Jesus will have much tribulation. And one of the reasons why is that they will always be in the ministry of losing, but yet winning. That is what happened to Jesus. It appeared as though he had lost. And so there's a theology of winning. You see the symbol? The cross is a symbol of winning while losing, or appearing to lose. And we wear that thing around our necks. And we see when we walk in, it's all over our light fixtures. And yet still, maybe because we are more Americans than Christians, we only want to win the way the world wins. And by so doing, not only are we losing, but the integrity of the faith that we stand upon is also losing. I call you back to winning the way Jesus did by losing. Whoever loses his life for my sake and the gospel's sake will save it. Humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, and in due course he will raise you up. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Go out and lose so that in losing you win. And in losing you give the gift of others to win. And when they win, they will help you in your loss to win. That's how it works. That's how Jesus did it. That's how we will continue it. Amen. So as we sing, I wonder if there is someone who has been told too often you're a loser. And you're really not a loser. You're a winner. Funny enough, those people who walk around calling other people losers think they're winners just because of their mouth and their money and their power. But the scriptures tell us it is when we are weak that we are strong. So at this invitation, I want to call anybody forward who needs an extra punch of power to win while losing. That's not a usual invitation. But as we stand and sing whatever we're going to be led to sing, come and draw down on that counterintuitive process of trusting Jesus, losing our lives, loosening up our self-control to him so that he controls and we win. Yes. Come, trust him. Give myself away, so you can use. That's easier to sing than to do, right? Let's do it.
sort out the confusion wherever confusion exists. The willingness to challenge that they now acknowledge. And as they open themselves to the challenge of your Spirit, you'll give them wisdom. You'll show them the way and say, this is the way, walk in it. You'll relieve them from any fears. You'll relieve them from any doubts, from any insecurities. You'll strengthen them. You'll do that for even those who still stand where they are and didn't move and probably should have come. But we know that you won't hold out on anyone who in their heart says to you, here am I, Lord. I open myself to you. I give myself to you. I need you. Correct me. Challenge me. Make me contented with my lot, even while I trust you for more. Make me focus more on how I can be a neighbor to someone else and invest myself in their journey to excellence, rather than swamping myself with my own debilitations and limitations. That's what it means to give ourselves to you, Lord. So help us to learn afresh how to lose. Yes, Lord, we don't belong to ourselves, we belong to you.
Life is not my own. You I belong. I give myself, I give myself.
After all, we were bought with a price, therefore glorify God in your hands.
It's not my own. To you I belong. I give myself, I give myself to you. Give myself away. Give myself away so you can use me. Give myself away. Give myself away so you can use me.
As you go from this place, go now, knowing that if you trust Him, He will place you in the right place. He will hold you in the right place. And even if you're not in the right place, He will shepherd you through this place where you are until He takes you in safety to the right place. Trust Him. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him and let Him direct your path. Go with the assurance that as you let go of your life, He holds you in the palm of His hands and no one is able to pluck you out. Go with the grace and the peace and the love of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. Rest, remaining and abiding in you, now and forevermore. Amen.